teen says he intentionally crashed after driving into a home. Fire damages townhome in Dixie Downs. And your daily weather forecast with highs, lows, and everything you need to know for the days ahead.
You're watching St. George News at 5, brought to you by our studio sponsor, We Win Injury Law.
Good afternoon, I'm Monica McLaughlin. A 19-year-old man is behind bars after reportedly crashing into a Washington City home while allegedly driving under the influence with 2 passengers in the car. Here's a closer look at the charges he's now facing and the damage left behind.
We heard what sounded like a bomb going off.
An early morning crash over the weekend sent one driver to jail and left a residence in Washington City with thousands in property damage. The crash was reported shortly after 1:30 a.m. on Sunday when a 19-year-old suspect lost control of the silver passenger car he was driving and ran through 2 yards before crashing into the home of Robert Sylvester.
Entered the neighborhood at the curve. He went straight rather than turning. He entered the house across the street in their driveway, went clear across that lot across the street. There was a trampoline between that wall and that tree. He hit the trampoline, then he hit the wall, went through the slow children playing sign and ended up hitting here, and then he bounced off and ended up over here in the middle of the lot.
The driver, identified as 19-year-old Carlos Javier Tarango of Arizona, was arrested after failing a field sobriety test and was booked into jail facing second-degree property damage and 7 misdemeanors, including DUI, reckless endangerment, reckless driving, and more. St. George News also reached out to Washington City Police Chief Jason Williams, who said that residents are asked to report motorists speeding through an area or a particular neighborhood and to report that activity to the police department. That way they can send resources to those areas that need it. No serious injuries were reported to either the driver or the 2 occupants inside the vehicle at the time of the crash. A structure fire in the Dixie Downs area of St. George Monday afternoon displaced residents and caused significant damage in the attic of a 2-story townhome. For more on the community response and how crews worked to contain the blaze, here's Maury Kessler.
A structure fire broke out Monday afternoon in the Dixie Downs area of St. George, displacing residents and prompting a sizable response from firefighters. St. George Fire Chief Robert Stoker shared details of the incident.
En route to the scene, our law enforcement and first and engine in this area reported smoke showing for a working structure fire. Appears that fire started on the exterior of the home on the side, which time the flames did spread up into the attic and the eaves of one of the units. 2-story unit, kind of a split level, was occupied at the time. All occupants were able to evacuate safely and were accounted for. At this point, pretty extensive damage to the attic and that area, so the occupants will be displaced. We're working with them to make sure they have a place to go, and if not, we'll contact the Red Cross.
The cause of the fire is currently under investigation.
Now we'll take a look at your daily weather forecast, brought to you by Casablanca Resort and Casino. In St. George, temperatures are sitting at 104 degrees with an overnight low of 71. Tomorrow, expect more heat with a high of 104 degrees and a low near 70. Mesquite is currently at 107 degrees and will cool slightly to 76 tonight, climbing back up to 108 tomorrow with a low of 75. Cedar City is at 89 degrees, dropping to 59 degrees tonight. Tomorrow's high will reach 91 degrees with a low of 60. A red flag warning is in effect for Cedar City through Wednesday evening due to gusty winds and low humidity, which could raise fire risk. Thanks, Maury. Now we'll head over to Tyler Todd for your weekly injury law review.
Hi, I'm Tyler with We Win Injury Law. Injuries to children are heartbreaking, and the legal process can be even more complex. Whether it's a car accident, dog bite, or playground injury, minors have special protections under Utah law. Their claims may require court approval and careful long-term planning. We help families navigate the legal system with compassion and care because your child's future deserves it.
Thanks, Tyler. Federal education funds previously frozen by the Trump administration have been released to the Washington County School District, according to Business Administrator Brent Bills. While this year's funding is now available, he noted a 75% cut is expected by the 2026-27 school year, with details still unclear. The freeze, part of President Trump's broader push to restructure the U.S. Department of Education, drew bipartisan concern and triggered lawsuits in 20 states. National after-school leaders say the delay caused significant disruption, though they expressed relief once the funds were reinstated. A St. George resident turned her yard into a thriving oasis for pollinators thanks to a permanent program offering native plant kits to Utah landowners. For more, here's reporter Alicia Lundgren with a look at how to upgrade your garden through this state-supported program.
St. George resident Colleen Winters transformed her lawn into a pollinator garden with some help from the Utah Pollinator Habitat Program, a state grant program to increase the amount of pollinator habitat across Utah. With pollinators in decline and southern Utah's growth up, Winters says she's passionate about providing habitat for wildlife through her landscaping choices, planting 29 native species tailored to the desert climate and setting up water features to support birds and insects.
Thank you for watching St. George News at 5. To learn more about our studio sponsor, We Win Injury Law, go to wewininjurylaw.com. I'm Monica McLaughlin with St. George News, your #1 source for local news.
This has been St. George News at 5, brought to you by We Win Injury Law.